Yo, what it do, 2K fans? It's your boy JuKIng the Boss, and today I want to talk to y'all about my career in NBA 2K20. Now, in NBA 2K19, I think they did my career extremely well compared to previous years. It didn't feel like everything was just in the way as much, but it still had its flaws. What do I mean by that? Well, simply put, we know that my career is the backbone of what started it all on the current road that 2K's on. So from the Pro-Am to the Jordan Rec Center to the park, all of these things were birthed from the idea of a custom player career. Now, as much as we could agree to disagree that not everybody cares too much about any new improvements in my career, we will have to say that if you want us to play that experience, it needs to be enjoyable across the board. Now, some people, they just play my career long enough to get to the park and to get the Pro-Am, and they go from there. They earn their rep, their bones from there. But for those who play my career, they want a story that feels something that they can more so relate to and less of a, this guy is just whining about this. So let's look at 2K19's My Career. What made it great was the cutscenes were skippable. That's saying something if one of the things that make it great is that you can skip cutscenes. So when you also look at the fact that it was a prequel, which means that it took place the year before the current NBA season, and you were able to just play a small story and go from there, get to the NBA and do what you do. The next thing was since the story didn't take place during that first year, the road to the NBA used a different path. And I like that. I love it when 2K tries something new. I never want them to go away from trying something new, especially when it's in that singular mode. Something that will not really hurt the entire product as a whole. But the downside to the good that we got in my career was the story was still a linear mess. The characters were still trash, like the profiles behind the characters, their reasons for being who they were. You really wasn't enjoying any of these characters except for maybe one or two, you know. And I don't mind when 2K creates one character that everybody kind of enjoys or one character that everybody kind of just hates on, like just feel is the most cringe character created. But I felt that they didn't do a good job in the character profiles, and they almost never do. Also, the introductory gameplay that was utilized. So we all know that the beginning of my career was played on a rookie variant difficulty that allowed you to get some badges pretty quickly. It made you feel like you were a superstar even if you were 60. Now, I don't want to take this away from anybody who, you know, paid for VC and leveled their man up to a certain extent, because when it boils down to it, I think the experience should be acceptable across the board for whoever plays whichever way. But the second you got to the NBA, that playing on Hall of Fame with that 62 overall was going to get you destroyed unless you found the ways to really utilize exploits within the game structure to get your buckets, to get your VC, to get your skills, to get your badges. And, you know, it was a work in progress. But like I said, I wouldn't completely count 2K19's career out, because the goods and the bads were trade off in a great way for me. Now, one thing I do want to say, that if 2K wants to continue to try new things, that's all well and cool, but here's a game plan for how the NBA focus my career mode should kind of play out moving forward. Instead of focusing on convoluted plot, forced objectives and obstacles, they should just really look at a couple of key takeaways. First and foremost is offline story access. Now, not everybody has the luxury of playing on an always online connection. I buy the game digital. I do have the luxury of always being able to be connected, but not everybody has that luxury. And so I think that's something that should be taken into consideration, because for a $60 game, playing my career, I played it offline, is literally like playing my GM without the bells and whistles. It's like playing franchise mode without all of the hoopla, all of the creativity behind it. You just player lock. That's what you're playing, franchise player lock. Now, why do I feel that this would be good going with an offline story? Because then you are appealing to all of your demographic. Like I said, not everybody lives in a part of the world where the internet's so developed they got an always online connection, or even a great stable connection regardless. So I would love to see them make improvements on offline story access. I think that's something that could benefit the community, and it also helps for when people get banned from online play. They are not allowed to play online, whether it is server side issues or whether it's a 2K issue. So whether 2K bans a player or their console provider bans them, or they don't have access to the internet, they can then take their online player and it could create an offline save for that player that they can continue playing with. So that way, if they do want to be able to go back online when they do have online access again, they'll only take a few steps back, as opposed to losing the player altogether or having to play with a whole new player in the offline mode. Now I know this is not something that 2K really worries about too much, because their focus is online play, and granted, we all understand that. But like I said, $60 game. So many of these things are right on the disc itself, are in the core files of the game. So I believe that they should be at least unlocked, so that way players who play offline, who can't play online, or who choose to want to play offline can still have the same experience. Now, the next thing is dynamic story. I really do like what Madden is talking about this year, about having a more scenario-based story to keep everybody's story from being the exact same. It would be so cool to look at videos online of people playing MyCAREER, and each one of them feel like they're playing a different MyCAREER. It creates intrigue. It really does allow people to sit up here and say, well, wow, I didn't know that he was able to take that route. I didn't know that I could make that choice, and that's what would happen. So some simple dialogue choices coming back, like during games, after games, before games, could create more dynamic scenarios. Now, speaking of these dynamic scenarios, first of all, look at how MLB The Show does their dynamic scenarios. Okay. I think that this kind of segues to the next point, which is dynamic challenges. MLB creates dynamic challenges in the game when you're up at bat. And because of these dynamic challenges, you can choose which one you want to attempt. So maybe just get a base hit, or maybe just hit a home run. You know, the bigger risk reward system of these challenges is what makes it compelling to continue playing. Now, if 2K could do that, we would go back to at least the ways that it was in 2K11 and 2K12, where it would say like you would get subbed out, and when you come back in, your team's down 10. The coach would tell you, hey, you're down 10, spark a run. You're down 10, get the offense involved, move the ball around, make a couple of extra passes, get the best opportunity for someone to score. Or if they tell you that like a superstar player on your team is cold, they'll say, hey, we need you to get this person going. You have a really good knack for the court. Your vision's great, especially if you're a point guard. We need you to get him buckets. We need you to get him out of this shooting slump he's having. Find the perfect opportunities. I would love to see that, because then you're adding, like I said, don't get me wrong, they did a great job with recognizing season performances, recognizing record-breaking performances, and even setting up slight season goals. Nothing too big, but they were setting up slight season goals, and every year they were basically the same goals. But it'd be good to add that dynamic level into MyCAREER, just because it creates a more spectacular, encouraging, and engaging gameplay. Now, the next thing is that I would love to see dynamic rivalries. Dynamic is the key to a lot of things that should happen in 2K. In the NBA, one of the best things you got is matchups. Dynamic matchups would be so great. The fact that you're playing small forward and Kevin Durant has been going off the past 10 games, and the coach say, hey, look, we need you to slow him down. We need you to keep him from scoring 10 points in this first quarter. We need you to get him in foul trouble. Something that makes you play at another level, a more elite level. And those dynamic rivalries would create longevity in the product itself. So even if you're playing 2K for a couple of years in your season, and then somebody retires, but you got new fresh blood that comes into the game, that comes into the career, then you got more people that you can create a rival with, or you can mentor in the level where it's like, hey, young man, welcome to the league. I'm about to drop 40 on your head. You about to get a rude awakening that you ain't as good as you thought you was in college. And I would love to see 2K take that route, creating these dynamic rivalries, so that way you got position-based rivalries, position-based battles. Even if you're creating position rivalries on your same team, like you're trying to fight for a starting spot, it'd be great to have a reason to get a starting spot as opposed to, oh, your overall went up. Like that's not a reason to give a person a starting spot. It's because they earned it. They deserved it. They worked hard for it. Let's do that. Now, small thing about it is nickname preference. This isn't something that's really important to me because they'll always give you a weird nickname. And this year I found a way to work with it. AI called my man Alfredo Insanity just because I didn't want to have this AI nickname, but I call him J Smith. Like it just didn't fit for me. So I gave him the nickname of Alfredo Insanity and called it a day. Now, one I would love to see, this is a personal bonus for me, which is dynamic acknowledgement when I pass friends on my friends list in all walks of the game, whether it's my career, Pro-Am, JRC, or my park. If I have a better average and I move up amongst my friends, I would love to see that. It just makes it feel like my career is connected with all of my friends. So these are just my little tips, and well, I can't even say the tips, ways that I believe NBA can improve my career for the future. Let me know what you think down below. Do you like what I'm saying? Do you agree with it? Is there something I'm missing? Is there any way you feel that my career could become a better experience for the long run? Let me know down in the comments below. As you can see, as you can hear, my voice is a little sore, but I'm still trying to crank out the rest of these videos. I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Man, I am